round of 32 of the 2024 Division III Men's Basketball Championship with Jackson White. My name is Logan Soforenko. We're joined by the host, head coach of Cal Lutheran University, Russell White. Coach White, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I
wish I was in a different seat.
Yesterday, unfortunately, the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen fell 78-73 to the Whitworth Pirates, but at the end of the day, you guys finished your season. You had the 19-game win streak heading into the conference tournament championship. It was a program record, but walking into today, how cool is it just to say that Cal Lutheran is hosting these first two games?
Yeah, it was definitely a goal when we took over 5 years ago. It speaks to it's not easy to host. Everything's got to fall your way, and it did.
Thank you, Coach.
Like I said, it's incredible. I just wish I was in a different seat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Well, last year you guys obviously were on the road against Rowan, and Rowan they got a victory today too, so they're moving on to the Sweet 16. But from a point of watching your program kind of grow, this was the senior class where it was the first time your first time having a graduating class where it was your recruiting class back in 2020, that freshman year for them. So what was it like kind of seeing them kind of finish up their careers this year at Cal Lu?
Almost like a dream. I mean, this is kind of what you want. It's kind of what you hope for. Not kind of. It is what you hope for. It's what you tell the guys is possible. That first year, we were 4-21, and those guys didn't get. Two of those guys got to experience the tournament last year, but just seeing the evolution of all of it, the program, the ability of our players, the growth of our players, the amount of people in the gym last night. I mean, when I got the job here, it was a family and friends crowd, and usually just family. Last night it was pretty much full.
Yeah.
And there was a moment during the game where I just kind of looked around, took a brief moment, and just took it all in. The place was packed. It was a tad surreal. It's surreal the first time, and then hopefully we get to the point where it's expected.
Well, Jackson and I were saying, there's always the fans all on the near side, which is, for us, the far side, the near side, so you can't really see the packed seats. But we were looking back at the broadcast last night. There wasn't one empty seat over here. So, that has to be a selling point for players that are going to come into this program for the years to come, right?
I mean, that's not something we can talk about, but the reality is you're coming to play basketball at Cal Lu and most D3 institutions because you love the game and the school meets your academic needs, your social needs, your geographic needs. I don't think it'd be fair to sell, hey, look, if we make the NCAA tournament, we're going to have a full house. And,
right.
I mean, the reality is, and I've always said this, when you win, they'll come.
Right.
Jackson kind of saw that at Crespi. You win, they're going to come. People like winners.
Right, exactly.
And they like watching good basketball, and they like watching teams that are going to win. If we don't win next year, we're going to go back to family and friends. And hopefully some friends. Family will show up all the time. But,
right.
It's great. I want to see a picture. I want all of it. But the reality is that's not how we're going to sell the program. We're going to sell it on the core values that we can count on every day.
Absolutely.
Right, and once the season closed, you're always big on reflection. I know it's pretty fresh, but reflecting back on this year, just what's your favorite moment if you have one?
The first thing that comes to mind, and I reserve the right to change my mind with more reflection. But the win at Occidental just felt like everything was going against us for a lot of different reasons. We made some big-time defensive plays. Riley O'Connor hits a step-back three to put us up with 1:20. Brock Susko dove to defend a backdoor cut, got a deflection, we got a steal. Beating Tufts at home when they were undefeated and ranked in the top 5, who I think they won today.
Oh, yeah.
They beat NYU, so they're in the Sweet 16. I could go on, but and having a full house last night, almost a full house for the championship game last weekend. The memories will be, the good memories will continue to stick with us. The loss will always be there, but it won't mean as much long term. The more we get away from it, the more we remember the good stuff, and then we start talking about how we lost, and you embellish the stories of why you lose and all this other stuff as time goes by.
Yeah.
It was a lot closer than it was, and all other stuff. But incredible year, man. Incredible year. Something to grow on for sure.
Well, Jackson and I were kind of talking about just obviously having you here is exciting because it's a close game now. What do you expect to see in the second half of these two teams?
More the same. Both teams are super physical. Josh Angle, I think, is incredible as a player. Hard to guard, but I like what Whitworth is doing. Actually, I got my notebook over there watching. I like what they're doing on the pin downs. Taking some notes on that. Ultimately, it's probably going to come down to who rebounds and then who makes a tough shot.
Right.
I would predict a last possession game, and I'm going to enjoy it to an extent. To an extent. I just like watching basketball, and I like watching good basketball even more. So whether I'm on one sideline or the other, I plan on hopefully going to the Final Four to watch it again. I'll take next weekend off.
There you go.
But go to the D3 Final Four and watch that. Keep figuring out how to get better. Keep figuring out how to get better.
Nice. Well, Coach White, thank you so much for your time. Wish we could talk to you for 20 minutes, but we got to get ready for the second half.
Shout out Logan, Jackson. One of the reasons I want to get on here is so I can publicly thank you guys for the job you do. Future professionals, your notes you have in front of you, how serious you take this. I know I've told you before, but you guys are top notch.
We're
lucky to have you.
Yeah,
and
we appreciate that.
I don't know. Can we find who? We got to find somebody to replace you, man. We got to find somebody to replace you, but that's not your worry. You guys are fantastic. I look forward to watching you both.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you so much, Coach. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back in 1 minute for the start of half.